This is Parasha Acharei. If you notice, at the end of the Parasha of Acharei, Torah talks about the marital relationship. Which ladies are we allowed to marry? Which ladies we are not allowed to marry? And there is a very philosophical question: why the Torah says us? Why Torah says us? Rambam tells us these things is also because HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want us to indulge ourselves in this type of relationship. In other words, we're not like monks to say this also to have a relationship. That's the opposite. In Kodesh HaKodashim, or the top of the Aron, there is a picture of a baby boy, baby girl. And Zohar HaKadosh says that describes the marital relationships, Kodesh HaKodashim, and the Hal Yisrael, marriage and marital relationships, Kodesh HaKodashim. But nevertheless, Rambam says these things has to be controlled. The person indulges himself and the person makes himself free of charge, it's not good. It has to be moderation. And Torah encourages moderation. Now, Rambam says, Torah says, your sister is also, your mother is also, your aunt is also. All of these forbidden ladies are to stop us from indulgement. Ramban, his colleague, almost, he comes along and he says that, Rambam, I'm very surprised from the way that you are saying the reason for these ladies. If you are right, Torah should have made Asur to marry more than one wife. Torah didn't make it Asur to marry more than one wife. Therefore, you see that the reason is not because of indulgement. And Ramban goes in and says, just the opposite. The best marriage is a brother and sister. Imagine a family, a brother and sister grew up together. They are together and they get married and the Yerusha, there's no problem of Yerusha. Everything stays in the family. You can't find anything better than that. He calls it a very, very good shidduch to be made between family and everything stays in the family, and we don't have so much debate between in-laws and this. We could solve a lot of problems. So Ramban, a very interesting Ramban. Then Ramban goes ahead and says the reason is Misat Kabbalah, Misat Chibur, of connection of these things are not good. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that he created the mechanism of the creation, he knew that this chibur and this connection between families are not good. It doesn't come out good. It's not a good product. But I don't know, the medicine also nowadays says that's not good, it's not healthy. But Ramban means something much deeper than that. In other words, according to the way that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the mechanism of the period, the chibur of the neshamot, he said this is not a good chibur. And then he said that's the reason. Now the question is, what's Pshat in Rambam, Taka? What's Pshat in Rambam? Rambam is right. If the point is indulgement, why Torah says that you could marry more than one wife, and that creates indulgement. Torah should have said that also is us. Now, when you think about it, first we explain, Rambam is trying to tell us something very deep. Rambam tells us, why the Torah said that all of the relatives are also because of indulgement. Ramban is saying that you could marry more than one wife. No, Rambam means to say like this. What's the yesod of all of the indulgement in that type of relationship? What makes it to happen is availability. Availability makes. That's why Torah says Yichud is also. You can't put a man and a lady in a locked room together. That occasion, that in itself is also. Even nothing happened. Nothing happened. If you put Moshe Rabbeinu and a lady in one room and lock it up, nothing happens. The world might call them heroes. But Torah says they are showing it's wicked. But the issue is to create availability. Remember that somebody was about to get married to a Jewish lady. When I talked to him, don't do it. Then I saw the lady. I thought that now that he wants to marry a Jewish lady, she has to be tall, she has to be such a pretty lady. I said, no, it's not like that, and not like that, but she had a child also. I told him, what's happening with you, man? Then I understood. How could he go after her? She has a child, and she's older than him. And what's happening here? Because she was available. She was his secretary. They worked together every day, every night. They talked to each other, they had coffee together, they talked to each other, and they made a relationship. Therefore, availability makes it. That's a very important lesson in life. Person has to know that in these matters, availability makes it. And the Chacham, a wise person, what does he do? He takes away availability from himself. If you want to stay Kadosh, to stay Kedusha, Rabbi Talib Salomon says, a person should have made the Keser of Yechud between a man and internet. Because internet makes it available for a man. And that availability for a man is dangerous. It's Yechud. Yechud. Person could go and see and watch and all of these terrible things that happens to very good people. Because availability makes, and that's Yesod Rambam. Rambam is telling you, as Torah says, all of these relatives are asur because relatives are available. The sister is available, the mother is available, the aunt is available, all in one house. And once they're in one house, then the Yetzer Hara comes and makes it, once it's available, you want it. You want to go and get married another wife, it's not available. You have to go and, it cools you down. If there's enough obstacle on the way, you should be cooled down. But here, it's there. Rambam says, Torah says also to take away the availability. Therefore, we learn such a great lesson from Rambam that we should be careful. Always we should take away the availability. We are to make ourselves kadosh, make our families kadosh, our daughters, our wives, our daughters also, not to create availability for them in a way that should be exposed to something that's not very healthy for them. Every person wants really to work on that, he has to work on the availability. Therefore, Rambam is saying something very deep here, that the yesod and the condition of getting indulged in this type of isurim is availability.